that we're looking at the response to the situation in Ukraine from London, and it's pathetic, I'm afraid. Now, there is a short answer. There are short answers to the question I am about to ask you. There are long answers to the question I am about to ask you. There are right answers, and there are, I'm sure, wrong answers. And none of us have the absolute ability to establish or predict what category any of the answers that we come up with together will fall into. I would also stress from the outset that it is possible that there will be more, although James cleverly seemed to suggest yesterday in the House of Commons that there wouldn't be. Liz Truss suggested this morning that there might be. Liz Truss, in at least one interview this morning, was shown a photograph of her celebrating at a party with the wife of one of Vladimir Putin's former ministers, who's also a very generous donor to the Conservative Party. And that perhaps is the beginnings of the first answer to the question of why has Boris Johnson responded to such blatant military aggression, described by him as blatant military aggression. I really want you to get to the crux of this question. This is the crucial bit. He's. I know that trying to treat him like a normal human being or a vaguely honest politician or even a man capable of feeling shame is wrong. We've learnt that the hard way, but I don't think we've yet come up with a way of treating him differently. So he got something right and something horribly wrong. What he got right was the nature of the threat, which is now, I think, being realised. So he knows. I mean, I know everything he does is simply designed to get him through the day. And if he happens to say something that's true, that is exactly the same motivation as when he says something that isn't true. It's what's best for me. So obviously the calculation that Boris Johnson has made is coming out all warlike and bellicose is best for brand Boris, brand Johnson. And therefore he has described Vladimir Putin in terms that happen to be true. It's incidental to the Johnson modus operandi that these terms happen to be true. It's a complete coincidence. It means nothing to him whether it's true or not. His decision is based entirely upon what makes him look good. So he wants to look warlike. He wants to look, God forbid, Churchillian. He's more Chinchillian, I think, than Churchillian, Boris Johnson. But nevertheless, it is part of the mythology that he is keen to emulate Winston Churchill. So he's come out in the last couple of days talking very, very strongly about Vladimir Putin's conduct and threatening all manner of things. What they will be, I know not, but they shall be the terror of the earth, as King Lear said. And on this occasion, he was actually correct. Coincidentally correct, because he doesn't care whether he's correct or incorrect. All he cares about is how he looks to you and backbench Tory MPs in a very short-term window. So we will take his analysis of the threat at face value for two reasons. Number one, he made it, which makes the question I'm about to ask you all the more pertinent. And number two, on this occasion, as we've just established, he happens to be correct about the threat, the scale of the threat, the blatant warmongering and lies of Vladimir Putin, posing a real threat to democracy in the Western world. So why has he responded so pathetically? If his own analysis is true, why has he responded by sanctioning 3 people that don't live here, at least 2 of whom, I need to double check this. I should double check this stuff before I come on air instead of listening to my new stings 37 times on my headphones. At least 2 of whom are already sanctioned in the United States of America. I think all 3 are. I could be wrong. And 5 banks, which are not considered by anybody who is an expert in such matters to be major players in any of the schemes that we are, or any of the behaviours that we are supposed to be addressing. Just think about it. Think about it. Pause. And listen, I know if you've got your little flag out and you still think Johnson is your man and he got Brexit done and all that sort of thing. I know how hard this is for you, but I am here to catch you when you are ready to fall from that ridiculous precipice that you've climbed up to. Let's go for Brexit briefly. He got Brexit done. That involves imposing economic sanctions on his own country. The first leader, I think, in the history of humanity to impose economic sanctions on his own country, to deliberately and consciously make it harder for British businesses to trade. That is economic sanctions. He has imposed them on Britain by, quotes, getting Brexit done. So if he's happy to impose swinging economic sanctions on Britain to cause queues at borders and to cause epic new costs for commerce, to introduce reams of new red tape for British businesses, why is he so reluctant to hit Russians, whose money is almost certainly filthy in these cases? If they can't account for where it came from, close them down.